friends all know that I'm cool. I've been this way since high school. Cause life's never been sweeter when you're just a cake eater. When it comes to hockey, nobody can stop me. My high school team, I was playing on the top three.
Welcome to the Youth Hockey of High School Hockey podcast, brought to you by Mayo Clinic Sports Medicine. I'm Danny Ryan. Joining with you is Tony Scott.
Hello, Danny.
And Carl East. How are you, Carl?
Good, how are you, Danny?
Good.
If Carl is Carl East, does that make me Tony Southwest?
No, it makes you Tony.
And you're Danny St. Thomas Academy?
Well, I still think you're Bloomington West.
I live in Bloomington.
You're Bloomington. You're Tony PWB.
All right, fine. I'm PWB, but once you can take the boy out of the city, but you can't take the city out of the boy.
I'm from the PWB originally.
You are.
Yeah,
yes,
so
you are.
I'm a PWB.
That's how we
person.
met.
Yes.
That's how we met. Before we get the show off the ground, we have a really good show this week. I promise you're going to like it. If you like our previous content, you'll like this one. Before we do that, though, I have a quick apology. We made some comments last week that were negative towards a couple players. As a rule, moving forward on this show, we will not make negative comments towards the players. So rest easy, all the players out there. You are safe on our show. As for teams, you are not safe, and you never will be. If you do not perform well, we will get you. Right?
But no reservations.
Without further ado, we are going to throw a couple teams under the bus right out of the gate. This is going to be fun. We call these anomalies, and we have a double-A anomaly. And we have a single-A anomaly. Where do you want to start?
I don't know. I think we should probably preface it by saying this season we've seen a lot of different things that we thought we would never see. And so, whether it being a St. Louis Park kid stealing the scoring title.
And being a Mr. Hockey finalist, hopefully, fingers crossed.
But, I mean, those are anomalies that you don't normally see. Let's start with, I like the Class 2A one to start, because the Class A one is...
Yeah, it's really good. Okay, so here's how the anomaly works. If somebody's a good team...
We use the transitional property here pretty loosely.
Correct. Okay, so our double-A anomaly is Maple Grove. Maple Grove defeated Hill Murray this week. Golf clap. That's actually a really good win. Okay? We had Hill Murray almost vaulted into the number one slot.
Yeah, if they would have won, they would have had a strong case for it.
Elk River, a great week, and then boom, they lose to Maple Grove. Maple Grove is an anomaly, and here's why. They beat Hill Murray. However, they lost to Blaine, and by comparative score, Blaine lost to Anoka, who lost to Rogers.
Which I was at on Monday.
And Rogers has lost to Bloomington Kennedy.
No. Rogers. No, I think we left it at Rogers there. So
they lost to Rogers. So, I'm sorry.
You're reading.
Sorry.
You didn't.
I wrote this down wrong. So Highland Park lost to.
Stop.
All right. We'll get to the A's. Okay.
So,
sorry,
anyways,
I screwed up.
To round out, Maple Grove, by the transitive property, lost to a team that currently hangs an all-academic Mississippi 8 Conference Champion Award in their rink.
In their rink, yes. Okay, now the Class A one. Now, this one's even better. Where does Kennedy? I forgot where. Well, you'll help me out with
help
Kennedy.
You out with
okay,
this.
Thank you. All right, this anomaly is Greenway, who you saw this week.
On Friday.
They lost to Grand Rapids. Greenway beat East Grand Forks, who's arguably one of the top four single-A teams.
Yeah,
in
they're
the state.
top in the 8A.
However, they lost to International Falls
on Saturday.
They lost to Highland Park. Okay, and Highland Park lost to Mora,
who then lost to
Kennedy. There you go.
So and by the transitive property,
Greenway.
No. East Grand
is worse than Kennedy.
Who just lost 13-0
to Benilde St. Margaret's. Yes. Yeah, so it is a crazy, crazy season.
And we could keep going on this with just weird things that we've seen so far this year that are just like scratch your head. St. Michael tying Moorhead is a little bit of an anomaly.
At Moorhead, yes. And Moorhead scored in the last 40 seconds. So, yeah, we had some crazy stuff happen. When you thought Moorhead was
a lock.
Downhill train coming to the XL Energy Center now raises some question marks.
Yes. Yes.
All right, so that section is over. Let's go through some past games. We as a group saw a lot of hockey this
I
week.
saw a little too much hockey. I started on Monday with Anoka, and then I drove up to Rapids on Friday.
Oh, well, you Tuesday. I did a semi-broadcast of the
Yeah.
Centennial Edina game.
Yeah, talking about that one, let's talk about that one first. Edina comes away with the 7-3 victory on this one. It was really, the first two periods were very competitive, but
Yes.
then Centennial took Edina took a 5-minute major, and so Centennial was on the power play for 5 minutes, and they looked like they were on the penalty kill.
Yes, that was when the game completely turned over. And I didn't get the impression. I got the impression that it made Edina mad, and like we're gonna kill this off, and we're gonna kill these guys, and it just was over.
Momentum completely switched over to Edina, and you kind of just saw Edina roll from that point forward. Going forward, I thought that Edina was going to do that from puck drop, but I'll give Centennial. Centennial really impressed me in this game. They're
For
playing
2 periods,
For
yeah.
2 periods, they're playing very good hockey. I think whoever, if Centennial makes it to the tournament, whoever draws them on the Thursday game is going to have a tough out.
Yes,
because
I agree.
Lucas McGregor's a good player.
He was really good on Tuesday.
Yeah, he was
was.
really. Who was that really tall kid that was on his line?
Carter Wagner.
Oh
number 8.
God, he
Yep.
played really well too.
Yep.
He was scrappy in front of the net.
Yep.
I liked the way that they played, but I expected Edina to win, and they did win in the
Yep.
fashion that we thought they were going to win.
I agree. All right, next game of the week that we saw or we think should be highlighted.
We think should be highlighted is a 4-2 win for Hill Murray over Elk River, and Jax Murray was back, and so this is I think this is a good win again for a Hill Murray team that is an anomaly. Let's just put it that way. That they're winning, and they're winning by great coaching and timely goaltending, and that's
No matter what kind of sandwiches you like,
yeah.
I think Hill Murray is a great team.
Okay.
I really do. Depending, no matter what kind of sandwiches you like. How's that?
Fine. Carl, what is your take right now on Hill? Because, up here, I've seen Hill. We've both seen Hill play a couple of times. But what do you look at them as an unbiased person who hasn't seen them play?
Well, just keep rolling. I think we've said it sometimes here already that they have great coaching, they have great defense. They know what they're doing in these big games. They know what it takes to win, and would not be surprised to see them right back there in March.
I won't be surprised either. I really won't.
I think that section final game at Aldrich, if both teams make it, is going to be rocking. Which
And it'll be on that stupid Friday night. Which it's good for us as fans because
Yeah, but it's sold out at like 3 o'clock.
I'll be there. I'll be there this year. It's during the youth regionals every year.
Yeah.
And it's the busiest day of the year for me, the Friday of the youth regionals. But I'll figure out a way to be at Aldrich that night to watch.
I will be too. I'll be driving straight from work over there, and last year was just so much fun, and I think this year, if that one's the game, even if it's White Bear in there, it's going to be a fun game because Stillwater.
Hello. Did you just say White Bear? Hello.
Yeah, what happened to that team this week? Yeah.
Oh God.
Good transition. Now.
Yeah, let's transition away from 4AA and move into 2A. Game that happened this week. Breck beat SPA 3-1. Kind of a replay of the previous
Yeah.
week. I see Breck still as a strong team right now. Do you guys have any discussion against that?
I think they're easily the second best team in the state, but not the first.
Okay. I still say, I look at this game, Dalton Weigel scored 2 goals in this, and that's really, Weigel's a difference maker for them.
Yeah, he's an outstanding player. He has been a 3-year player for Coach Larson. I think that's a good team. I just don't think they're as good as Hermantown when push comes to shove.
No.
No.
Okay, and then a game that we talked about earlier, Maple Grove beats Hill Murray 2-0. In all reality, it's a 1-0. Justin Kelly scored with 1 second left, so let's call it garbage time goal there. But I guess I expected Hill to win this game the way that they were trending.
Didn't everybody?
Yeah, granted they kept Maple Grove off the board. They only Begley let him 1 goal, but still, I would expect that you would score more than nothing against Maple Grove team.
I like to consider YHH as a avenue to where you can find out everything. It was noon on Friday, and I didn't tweet it. I didn't know about it. I was covering all the games Thursday, and all of a sudden goes, well, what about that Maple Grove win over Hill Murray? Someone said to me, I'm like, what? I just completely missed it. That was... if that's better, I call it a blind spot. I missed one. I apologize.
Well, I was at Delano versus St. Cloud Cathedral on Thursday, and the rink was a black hole for phone reception. So I didn't
Yes.
have any in there. And so I get out and I call Carl on the way home, and Carl tells me this. And I was like, what?
It was live streamed. That game was live streamed, right?
Really?
It was one of the worst streams ever. I mean, it was like watching stick figures streak across the stream, and there was no
Techno ball.
sound. Yeah, it was so bad. No offense. I mean, I just don't think there's any real good coverage in that rink.
No.
In order to do it, you have to do what you do in Hermantown. You have to run outside and tweet, and then come back in.
Oh my God. Yeah. That I wasn't about to do that in Delano. Okay, we done with Maple Grove Hill.
Yes.
Okay, let's move on to that Delano St. Cloud Cathedral game. This was a good game, I thought. Looking at it, I expected Delano to come out with some firepower, but St. Cloud Cathedral has some firepower on their team. They have some pretty decent players that really surprised me. I think, who was it that surprised me? They're number 27, and I'm blanking on his name, but he's got probably his hair as long as a visitation girl.
She's got great hair.
Great.
I don't know who he is. I've seen pictures of him.
But he's a power forward. He's a decent player.
Yeah.
Number 4.
I'll look him up here. But, Jake Van
Van
Hollenbeck's
Hollenbeck.
good, but he's
Yeah.
number 2, though. That's
No,
not...
Jake Van Holbeck's number 4.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, he scored their first goal. And I'll give credit to Cathedral. They hung in there until the third period, and then Delano popped a couple in and kind of iced the game away. But this was a Cathedral team that didn't stand down. And I think if Keegan Karki was playing for Cathedral,
If some butts were candy and nuts, Danny.
this would be a different team. But I was really impressed by them. And I think if they make the tournament, they'll be in that 4-5 game, I want to say. And that's going to be a great Wednesday night showdown.
Yeah, it's so Reagan Garden is his name.
Okay.
And he is the Fabio. I mean, it's unbelievable. You know what? I forgot. Cathedral's got unbelievable hair. Remember last year when they tried it out? I'm like, they must have a really lax hair policy for this Catholic school. My goodness, Reagan Garden. That's amazing.
As somebody who had to keep his hair tight at St. Thomas, I was a little scratching my head when I was watching this. Normally
I
at Catholic.
forgot it was Catholic schools is usually chopped pretty.
I'll get Brady Zemer has nice flow for Holy Family
absolutely.
too.
I bet theirs very lax as well.
Yeah, but I was kind of surprised. I forgot that Motzko's kid plays for Cathedral.
He's number 18, yeah.
And so then I'm just standing at the rink and I was like, why is Motzko here? Oh yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
So
I think Motzko's going to build.
Delano, too.
I think Bob Motzko's going to build what Scott Santos built with Hermantown. He's going to build a little factory there of future St. Cloud State Huskies
at Cathedral.
At Cathedral, I think he's going to do that over the next 5 to 10 years. Don't look past that. I think it's a good feeding ground for great hockey players.
Also, a little tip: Patrick Royce is writing a story on Delano.
Nice.
Royce
So he was there?
at the game. He was talking to Mr. Myers.
Good for him. That's good.
Yeah.
All the publicity that Delano can get, the better for the game of hockey in Minnesota.
Yep. So next game, this was the Friday game that I drove up to Grand Rapids to see. Grand Rapids 4, Greenway 1. This was, when the best way to describe this game is if you go to a lot of concerts and you go to a concert that kind of reminds you why you love concerts and that was really good. That's what this game is. I think Reed Larson from Virginia tweeted out that there was
5,000.
It really. Here's how many people were there and how big this game was. JV was Greenway was up 2-1. Okay, going into the third period, the announcer goes, "There'll be running time in the third period of JV, just so they could get to the varsity action
Seriously?
quicker." Yeah.
And a 2-1 game?
3-2 game. Sorry.
Oh my
God,
god.
it's so. I mean, you had two sets of skating cheerleaders. You had the Rapids band there just playing loud, which in that rink is appropriate because of the dome. It actually
It's
carries
amazing
well,
in there.
and it's just. I mean, you heard a lot of Rapids, going on. It was, it was nuts. Leaving was crazy. I was literally stuck, like my car in park, waiting for the stoplight. And people are still piling out 20 to 30 minutes afterwards. This was just, the atmosphere was amazing.
Yeah, it's interesting that Reed would do that as the Virginia
Your
coach.
coach. I know.
He's proud. It's proud. It's a very proud heritage in that pocket of the state.
Well, it was just, it's one of those games that was just like, wow, it makes you proud to, be a Minnesotan. Really, it's just
Shout out
exciting.
to Jerry Stayskull and Ann Campbell getting you into the game.
Well, I
You know?
didn't meat them.
You didn't, but they did get you in. That's the matters. All that matters.
Yeah. So no, that was really nice, and so I love going up to Grand Rapids to watch games because it's just a great atmosphere there to just be a part of, and just when there are such things as season ticket holders that have
amazing.
assigned seats. It's something that you can't really fathom, at some schools.
Anywhere else.
Anywhere
No.
else. And
Agreed.
so not that the game was worthwhile. The top line is playing together.
Yep.
Again, Trent Klatt has them playing together, which is good. I think, that's what we like to see, and they're playing good hockey. They looked like a good, solid team when I saw them play this week.
Only question that remains is, yes, that's a great line, and that line will steamroll through most teams in the state, all but 9, according to Danny. Carl, sorry. And but the big question is, can Elk River Duluth solve that quiz or solve that riddle in the sections? And I think they can, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think Duluth East, right, Carl, has their number, and traditionally, right?
Traditionally, yeah.
Yeah.
You never know what's going to happen in an emotional section game, but they certainly have a formula.
And I think it just even at the game on Friday, they're like, the Rapids fans said to me, it doesn't get this busy unless East is in town or that large of a crowd. So they know that's a big game for East and Rapids, and they get up to play that game. So okay, enough about that game. Kind of went as expected. Games that didn't go as expected. Let's start with Centennial 5, Maple Grove nothing.
That's our anomaly.
That's
Maple Grove.
Maple Grove. But I think really I'm looking at Centennial as the team to beat in that section right now. I like their play. I think they're a lot better than everybody else currently right now in 5AA. If you look at Blaine lost to Anoka.
Yes.
And so, the Tornadoes aren't that great of a
No,
team.
I've seen them.
I've seen them too, and so I really have to look at Centennial as being the front runner. But 5AA is a crazy section that anything can happen.
It's a weird one.
That one, like the best team never comes out of that section, and it's just
So disappointing every year.
that one in Section 3AA has always been like that
Historically.
too. Historically. Okay, and then the main event on Saturday, I got Eden Prairie versus. No, sorry,
That was not a main event. I broadcasted that one. It was not a main event.
Eden Prairie slacks Wayzata 8-2.
8-2.
Carl, did you fall asleep even watching Tony live stream this?
Yeah, it was possible. And I think Tony was more interested in the fans in the stands and what was actually going on during the game while broadcasting, which was fair. That was more interested in the game.
Down 6-0, Wayzata scores, and 8 Wayzata students start chanting Civ. And I'm like, this is the worst orchestrated student movement ever.
Probably the best text that I got yesterday was Carl said that they started Eden Prairie started their backup goaltender against Wayzata.
Dietrich, yeah. He played real well in the early going, and it was kind of the difference because he shut down a few good chances, and Eden Prairie, scored 3 at the end of the first period, and then just rolled to start the second period. It was 6-0. It could have been running time, So The main event, well, I think, was your Holy Family Tonka.
Holy
let's talk
Family
about that.
Minnetonka. So I would say the first period was a very good period. Bobby Brink scores in the first period, new commit.
He committed to Denver yesterday.
And this was really Holy Family controlling zone time and neutral zone play in both the second and the first period, and for the first half of the third. And then all hell broke loose. This was when it got really, I went to my dad, I think at the 10-minute mark, because we're staying next to each other at Pagel, and I go, wow, this still feels like a second period. And then the scoring happened. You had Peter Tabor score a shorthanded 5-on-3 shorthanded goal.
No way.
Breaks up a D-to-D pass, goes the other, that was Tabor's goal. That was breaking up the D-to-D pass, going the other way, and just cleans Glockner's clock. I mean, it was just, that was awesome. So then it was like, okay, now we're back into it, because you don't score on a 3-on-5 and not get everybody back into this game. So then you had Jack Bauman score on a power play, and then Ben Almquist scores from the point, and an untouched puck just hits the top of the corner, and then Mac Byers scores
Late,
really late, with 39.1 seconds left, and then it was just like the roof blew off. It was a great way to end this game, and you could tell, second period, it kind of felt like a heavyweight bout, section game. Didn't really, trying to feel out each other. But when the cards were chips were in the middle, then this game got really, really, really exciting. And so that was a lot of fun. Give it to Holy Family. They stuck out on this one. I think, we look at them right now, is if Eden Prairie can probably run the Lake Conference, they're going to be 1 and Holy Family 2.
Oh, yeah. Right now they're 1 and 3 in Carl's ranking, so for sure they're going to be 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Unless something weird happens with Eden Prairie.
Unless Eden Prairie really just goes down in the Lake Conference, I don't see that happening. It happened last year, but
it's a different team. They are so confident.
Yeah. So I think we're both under that impression.
I'd love to be at that section meeting when because they're both about the similar record and they're both hot as a pistol.
Yeah.
And who deserves the 1 seed? Who deserves that part doesn't really matter because they'll likely end up in the finals. But no one wants to play Tonka. I mean, does Eden Prairie want to play Tonka for the 11th time? No, you don't.
Well, here's the other thing: is I would actually rather see Eden Prairie and Holy Family play in a semifinal format, because I hate watching them play on Mariucci.
Yeah.
It's going to be a mausoleum of a rink, because you can't fill out the rink for a high school game. And it's such a large sheet of ice. It's Olympic, and then it's like Olympic plus. And it's not going to be, great.
I liken it to a bandy rink myself.
A bandy rink.
That big. They should use bigger nets.
And balls.
And balls, exactly.
And curved sticks.
All right, any other big games this week?
No, that's all I got. That's the pictures as I see them right now.
Awesome. So our next segment, I promised fun. It was so much fun, it took us an hour to prepare for this segment. It's called the Mount Rushmore, and we had such debate. We couldn't have just one Mount Rushmore. We had to have 3 Mount Rushmores.
Okay, so we'll give a little background of how this segment started. Is last week Tony claimed after the show that he met Dave Spihar.
Yes, I did.
At the Squirtacular. And
Yes.
So Tony said, the Mount Rushmore. And I go, whoa.
No, I whispered after he walked out of the office, I go, I just met a Mount Rushmore Minnesota hockey player there. And the guy goes, you think he's that good? This one other guy questioned. So I'm like, oh, yeah, he changed high school hockey. People stopped to watch Dave Spihar.
Okay, so
Go ahead.
don't cannibalize this. So,
All right.
And then Tony tells me that, and I go, well, who's on Mount Rushmore? And this is where we've spent the whole week kind of debating this between us. So we've kind of broken this down into a couple different categories. Okay?
Yeah, so there's players, there's influencers, and then there's the combo packages. And actually, Willard Ike is going to make it 2 out of these 3. I'm not going to give it away, but he's going to make it 2 out of these 3.
Okay.
So do we want to start with players first?
Let's start players first.
I think we have a consensus on Dave Spihar. I'm not going to have to twist Carl's arm on that one.
We can put him on mute.
Yeah, we just put him on mute. Okay, and you agree on Dave Spihar as well?
Yeah, but let Carl tell how. So Spihar was a key player for us in the 90s growing up. Carl, what did he mean up in Duluth? Or what does he mean up in Duluth? That, why would he be on this?
Yeah, well, he basically earned godlike status in Duluth after what he did in the 95 state tournament. But, if you look at most of the scoring records for the state tournament, it's basically all John Mayasich. But that was in such a different era. And I think Mayasich is a great player, too. He's on my list also. But at the same time, when you see what Spehard did in modern hockey, where teams are 3 lines deep, defense is good, and it's so hard to win. You have someone go and score 3 hat-tricks 3 nights in a row. He had 100 points as a junior, pretty close as a senior. And the point totals he's put up were just ridiculous. And the way he changed the game when he just stepped onto the ice, which is like nothing else we've seen in high school hockey.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that one.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Carl. John Mayasich is an automatic.
He's the George Washington. Let's call him that.
He is. He is the George Washington. I love the little tidbit you gave me this morning. He's invented the slap shot. I love that. I mean, he was not the only player, by the way, who slapped a puck. But he was
is tied.
amazing.
Do you know who the Canadian that is credited for it?
Who's that?
Carl, do you know?
Rocket Richard?
No, not Henri Richard. He's a Montreal Canadian as well. He's named Boom Boom Jeffrey.
Oh, okay. I believe that.
Boom Boom because the slap shot.
Yes.
Boom Boom. One to hit, one to go in.
Hard to argue with our number 3 as well. Neil Broughton would make that list. First American to score 100 points in the NHL, won a national championship, won Olympic gold.
Tony, this is for high school hockey. Again, Broughton as a high school player was unbelievable.
Okay. I thought you were going to disagree with me. I'm like, we had 100 points in high school.
No, in high school.
Yeah.
That's where we want to take this list. Only as high school players, and Broughton is one of them. But
absolutely.
The only knock on Broughton is
didn't win a state championship.
I
agree.
Yep. So
I agree.
Anyways.
All right. So speaking of winning state championships, my nominee for the 4th person on the list is Kyle Rao. He won 2 state championships, was Mr. Hockey. He kind of defined what the 2000s look like, what a great high school hockey player looks like.
Carl blacked out his memory from his history, cleared it from his internet browser.
It's funny, before the show, he also agreed too, believe it or not. He was a bit bitter by agreeing, but I believe he agreed. Do you agree with that, Carl?
Yeah, no, I think when you win 2 state championships and almost single-handedly win one of them, you just be on that list too. That's iconic high school players we've had in the past 15 years.
Before Danny names his choice for Mount Rushmore, I'm going to go through a list of some others that got consideration. Phil Housley and Mike Antonovich, who was a
Greenway player.
He was an unbelievable high school player, college player, and obviously pro player too.
Yeah.
Who is your choice, Danny?
I'm going Johnny Pohl on this. It's a little bit of a stretch, but Johnny Pohl set a lot of scoring records when he was in the state high school league. Also, Johnny grew Class A hockey better than just trash teams playing other trash teams. And so
I agree with you 100%.
Without that, you wouldn't see like 10,000 people at Class A games. I mean,
I agree.
He made my high school better by making my high school experience better by making Class A hockey better, therefore making my experiences at the tournament amazing.
I agree. So without Johnny Pohl, had Johnny Pohl gone to the Gophers and played 4th line and didn't, make an impact, he made probably more of an impact after high school than winning a national championship. That was if Johnny Pohl can play for Red Wing and win a state championship and play for the Gophers and go to the NHL, then I can do it here in Class A hockey as well, which was a really big impact. So I like your pick. I'm still think Kyle Rao is he's sexier. How's that?
Let's just put it this way. When we look at Mount Rushmore, somebody's got to be Teddy Roosevelt.
All right. Now let's move to our influencers. Now, an influencer is someone who had a major impact on high school hockey or just the state of hockey in itself. Just a big, big impact on the game.
High school hockey. Do not
It can be, we'll argue on that
this
one.
This is where we'll argue.
Yes, so Herb Brooks is the number one, and sure, he didn't have a huge impact on high school hockey directly. It's not like he was on the Minnesota High School Hockey Coaches Association or anything like that. But his impact globally and the impact of what it had on the state of Minnesota and what it's had on high school hockey and all forms of hockey in Minnesota, you cannot leave him off that list. Without a question, he is the number one. He's the George Washington, in my opinion, on that list for influencers.
I think if there wasn't a Disney movie, most millennials wouldn't know who Herb Brooks was.
That's very sad.
But it's somewhat true.
That's really sad. This is Mount Rushmore. This is made out of rock. And Herb Brooks is my rock. He is my rock.
Okay.
Oh, well, they didn't make a movie about Willard Eichel, and he's going to be on here.
Well, fine, they should. It'd be a cool story.
Yes, it would. Danny, any thoughts on Herb Brooks' value to this Mount Rushmore as an influencer?
My takeaway on Herb Brooks as an influencer is really just a name. It's not because Herb was a big proponent of community puck, but it's not like he didn't do anything directly for the tournament. You know, he sent his kids also to St. Thomas and visitation. It's not like he sent them to hockey schools. I mean, Danny played at Denver, but he didn't,
Yeah, I know.
I'm just putting this out there.
The fact where he sends his children for high school has no impact on high school hockey. I mean, he had a huge impact on just the way kids play the game.
What he did as a coach too, and he the problem is not bringing in Minnesota high school kids to play for him at FEU or even on the Olympic team, which that's a deep reach. That's continued influence throughout his career.
So the same impact, thank you, Carl, the same impact that Johnny Pohl had, Herb Brooks had as well. Herb Brooks brought in 14 or 12 Minnesotans to the U.S. Olympic team that all played high school hockey. What does that tell a 5-year-old kid? I can play high school hockey in Minnesota, and I can make the Olympic team, and then I can go to the NHL.
Fine.
Who had that impact?
Fine.
I guarantee some guy from the Northeast wouldn't have had that same impact.
No, I agree. I'm not going to deny Herb Brooks as being an influencer. I'm just saying that high school hockey, we're always looking, at the high school hockey here. Okay,
Correct.
As Minnesota hockey, I don't think
these are influencers.
Okay,
Carl.
fine.
Influence.
Fine,
the next
fine.
influencer that I think we all agree on, consensus, is Lou Nanne.
Yeah.
This is a fun one, but Lou Nanne had a major impact for 40 years, maybe 50 years. Who knows how many years it's been as the announcer for the state high school tournament.
Yeah.
And every kid, going back to that 5-year-old kid, 8-year-old kid, he strives to be on the TV and have Lou Nanne call his name.
Yeah. I think, there's a fair point on this. Carl, you'll probably agree. When we see Lou Nanne up in the press box, it's like,
Yeah, there's a little halo around his head.
the awkward elevator rides that we have with him are just awesome.
Yeah, they are. It is.
There's no denying it.
And I don't know really what influence he had, but he's an icon, and icons go on.
Here's the influence that he had. He made the tournament watchable. Okay,
Correct.
And when you're growing up in Minnesota, you have the tournament on in your classroom. It's Lou announcing. Okay,
Yeah.
It's a recognizable voice. It's like Al Michaels. You know that John Madden. Football's on when John Madden's talking.
It was a big game if Lou Nanne was there.
And
Agreed.
so that's where Lou's impact really lies.
All right, we all have a consensus on Herb Brooks, Willard. Oh, we haven't got to Willard Eichel yet.
Yes.
So I think Willard Eichel is a shoo-in to be on this list.
Yes.
He single-handedly built Edina's hockey program. Without Edina hockey, without a hated public school, suburban team, Edina hockey is the lightning rod for our program, and Willard Eichel is the grandfather or the father of that program. And I think without doubt he had a major impact on why there are high school players, youth players that wake up in the morning and they want to beat Edina, and that's all because of Willard Eichel.
Here's how just prevalent this is, and you can tell any story about this, but last night I'm putting a list together at a bar, and I'm explaining Willard Eichel to this guy next to me who grew up in St. Paul and played for Harding or something, and he's like, oh, Edina, blank Edina, and I was just like,
Yeah.
that's what Willard Eichela created. He created
Yes.
that cake eater, attitude that nobody likes Edina, but you all have to respect Edina for what they do.
All right, so we agree to that. Carl, any disagreement on Willard Eichela?
Not at all. I mean, if you look at his record as coach, the 19 state tournaments, 7 championships. And no one can be close to the state championship. He's like kind of close in number state tournament verse, but he's still leading that field. So that's an easy one.
Easy one. Okay. He's also going to make our combo as well. Last but not least, we have 4 here. I have a nominee. Anyone else have a nominee better than Cal Marvin? Cal Marvin was he was the guidepost for Northern hockey, not just for youth hockey and high school hockey, but senior hockey afterwards. He had an amazing impact on the Christian brothers, all the great activity that happened in Northern Minnesota. Cal Marvin, and on top of that, Cal Marvin's children, Cal Marvin's grandchildren, Cal Marvin's nieces, great nieces, nephews, all of those. He's had a major impact just on his bloodlines alone, has had a major influence on the importance of Hockeytown, USA, and everything to do with Northern Minnesota hockey.
Okay, well, I'll give another one.
Okay, good.
I'll go John Bianchi, Paisan here.
Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot.
Here's my argument on this is I was telling you guys before the show, I'll make this comparison. So Casey Stengel, the old Yankees manager, somebody once asked Casey, how do you win all the time? And he goes, well, I never won without my man. His man was Yogi Berra. Casey Stengel never won a World Series without Yogi Berra. And that's the same way with Tom Saturdahl. Tom Saturdahl never won without his man. His man was John Bianchi. He's the ultimate player's coach. Everybody loves Bianchi. He's hilarious. He was the mayor.
He was the mayor of Bloomington.
Oh, he still is.
Gene Winstead is has the title, but John Bianchi is still the mayor of Bloomington.
And like when you hear him talk about high school hockey, I think I heard an interview with him once that when the tournament got moved back to St. Paul, he's like, it needed to be in St. Paul. You needed to walk out of your car and smell cassettes. That's like Bianchi loves everything about high school hockey and just the little things that we all love, and he gave that to his players and to his kids, and that's what makes him exciting.
We talked about Cal Marvin's influence on bloodlines, John's influence as well. No Jefferson state champion has ever had a name and did not have Bianchi's name on it. So Steve, Joe, and Tony all won titles while playing for his dad, who was their dad, who was the assistant coach for the Jags. I like that call.
And he never played high school hockey. He grew up in either Buell or Iron Mountain, I forget, but they didn't co-opt at the time with Virginia. So
probably was a basketball player or wrestler.
Yeah, I bet he was a wrestler.
Yeah,
looking
if
at
you've seen John, he was probably a wrestler.
But I mean, he never played, so that's one of those things.
I agree. All right, so we have no consensus on number 4. Carl, let's see your number 4.
Yeah, I can stick with the Jefferson theme. I think Greg Treble deserves to be really some consideration to be on this list. Not only for what he did as a coach first at the Bloomington Bantams and then at Holy Angels, but how he really changed the landscape of high school hockey. When he left Bloomington and took a bunch of good players with him and made Holy Angels do it, that really started the whole private school movement. Before Holy Angels rise under Treble, there was one good private school, basically. It was Hill Murray and no one else. And then after Treble did that, suddenly all these private schools started becoming good. We're talking about influencers. That's really an important moment in high school hockey history.
Isn't that an amazing statement, Danny? We just made it. I got the chills when you just said that. Greg Treble was one of the greatest hockey people that this state has ever seen. And what he was able to do at Holy Angels it had a huge impact. There wouldn't be Benilde today. There wouldn't be St. Thomas Academy today. There wouldn't be Breck. Those schools saw what he did at Holy Angels and said, we're going to follow suit.
I would call high school hockey from the late 90s to the early 2000s the Dark Ages.
Yes.
And he brought us out of the Dark Ages into a new realm of private schools, being in the tournament and being hated in the tournament.
Yes.
That's a new era of high school hockey, and he kind of brought that to a forefront.
I don't remember the year, and I know you guys remember. Remember that year that it was Benilde and Hill Murray in the finals?
2012, right?
Oh, my God. It was painful.
12, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God, that
As
was
a public school kid, that was the hardest final to watch.
well, it was a painful game. Let's put it that way. Grant Bessie had a great game.
It was not painful for Grant Bessie.
No.
All right, so we have our. I think I like all of those choices.
Yeah.
Cal Marvin brings something to the table that Treble and Bianchi don't, and I think all three of them bring something special.
Yeah.
We'll leave it as a 3-man, and then we'll have a poll or a write-in ballot
But
petitions.
there's people that we're missing on there too that are easily, should be on that list.
as far as influential, there's
Yeah.
so many. There's lots of them.
Yeah.
That's true.
Every community has one.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so let's move on to our combos. A combo is a guy who had influence as a coach and was also an outstanding player.
Or influence just as a different realm too.
Correct. We talked about Willard Eichela. You want to spit
Yeah.
out his stats and make a case for him
He was
as a player and a coach?
Yeah, he was undefeated for 3 straight years in net for Eveleth, 5 shutouts in the tournament, and then he goes after high school, wins 2 national championships for Michigan, and then goes and completes on the Olympic team that won gold, I want to say, right, Carl?
I think he was on the 56 team.
Was that the silver team in Squaw?
Yeah.
He played in the Olympics.
Yes.
I mean, it's just like, it's crazy how good of a player he was.
I believe Jack McCartan was the goaltender for the 60 Olympic team.
Okay, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So, but still, and then we talk about what he did as a coach. I mean, I think he's the George Washington of combo platters.
Yes, he is. All right. I think the next one here, Carl, you're going to like this one, is Mike Randolph. We have a consensus on him. Mike played for, was it Duluth Cathedral at the time? Is that what
Yeah.
they called it?
Yeah. Good one. Yep.
Which is now Duluth Marshall. So, without question, a great high school player and a phenomenal high school coach. I mean, a legend high school coach. Want to build a little bit on that one for us, Carl? Talk about his influence up there.
Yeah, I guess someone who's just become sort of a constant factor in Duluth hockey, through his entire life now. He grew up here. He bounced around coaching at St. Scholastica a little bit before he got into the high school ranks at East. Was influential at Denfeld. He was an assistant there when they went to their first couple of state tournaments in the 80s. So it's not just what he's done at East. It's been a full lifetime of influence, and he's become such a huge figure, to the point where, school board elections can swing on whether or not he's the coach of Duluth East. When he got fired for a season in there, it became a political issue in the city. So,
I mean, think about that. Think about that. They had school board elections were running on a Randolph yes or a Randolph no platform.
Literally.
It's one of the funniest things ever.
That is hilarious.
It's hilarious. So then the guy loses the thing, and all of a sudden,
Mike's
20 minutes later, Mike's back as the coach of East. It's spectacular.
the most petty thing that you can do.
Ever.
But I mean,
Ever.
to this model, like Carl gave me a tour of Duluth a couple of weeks ago when I was up there, and he's like, "Oh yeah, Randolph lives over there in that neighborhood." It's like everybody knows that type of thing. Like, Mike lives over there.
Well, where did his son play? Which neighborhood park did his son play? Do you know off the top of your head?
I believe it's a Portman kid.
What's that?
I believe he was a Portman kid.
He was a Portman kid. Okay, Portman Bruins. Gotta like that. Gotta like that. Good call, Carl. That's your best.
Their neighbors growing up, and
That's
they
your
played together all the way up.
That's your best contribution to the show that you knew that he played at Portman. Love it. Love it. Okay, I like these next. I like these next two. You threw this one out a little bit biased,
Yes.
but I love it anyway. We want to go with it, Tom Vanelli?
Tom Vanelli, well, Tom grew St. Thomas hockey to what it is right now. I mean, St. Thomas hockey, when I started in 7th grade, we were 3-21. And so it really wasn't competitive at all. And you look at, he grew St. Thomas to winning 5 state tournaments as a Class A school, and now, a name in 2A and a name for hockey statewide. Also, Tom was an amazing player in his own right. He was a scoring leader for
St. Paul Academy.
I mean, this is back when the private school tournament was happening, and then he played for the Gophers. He played under Herb Brooks. I mean, he was a feisty player, too.
He was great. I'll never forget growing up in my neighborhood, a friend of mine, Jonathan Waugh, whenever we played in the backyard, he always had to be Tom Vanelli. Loved Tom Vanelli. And we were like, I get to be Tom Vanelli. No, I'm going home if I don't get to be Tom Vanelli. I'm like, okay, fine, you can be Vanelli. Valley.
I've heard stories of like there's video of him just like before a face-off, just dropping the gloves and starting punching.
Yeah, he was tough.
and he's still that way.
All right, speaking of former Gophers, our last one is Doug Woog. Doug was the Wooger. Well, he could be an influencer too because he had some big influence as a
But
as a
he
coach
is an
and-
influence. He's a combo.
He is. He's a combo. But he was also he was a great player for South St. Paul. Played for the Gophers. Coached at South St. Paul. Coached the Gophers. He is without doubt. He's got an arena named after him in St. Paul.
And it's not only that. He's got an arena that we all know as Wakota.
Yes.
Named after him.
Yes.
It's not like it's this little podunk rink. It's Wakota is now named Doug Woog Arena.
If we had time, it would be fun to find out who there is 5 or 6 or 7 on this list. But these 4 are really rock solid.
Yeah.
No pun intended. All right. Now, moving forward, I like that addition. Moving forward, we have a few games this week we want to talk about, and then our 4 pick'ems before we wrap up the show.
Sure. Tuesday we got a couple games. First game that I want to talk about, Cretin versus St. Thomas.
We will be broadcasting that game, by the way.
I will be there because it's Cretin versus St. Thomas. I can't deny my blue blood, I guess, as a St. Thomas grad, and I'll have to hiss Cretin every time that name gets mentioned. But this is probably one of the biggest private school rivalries in the state. Anytime the name Cretin gets mentioned at St. Thomas, they hiss. And it's just like we have sing-songs about Cretin at St. Thomas. It's a rivalry that runs deep, and it runs between families, too.
Yes.
So this is an exciting game. If you want to see a fun atmosphere, go to St. Thomas on Tuesday.
It'll be good. It'll be good.
Thursday, got Elk River versus Blaine. Let's see if Blaine can respond after losing to Anoka and see if Elk River can win and cruise over a team that they should.
Correct.
I
like Elk River, and I like St. Thomas so far
Yep.
in these games.
Yep. And I think we're all in consensus on that, right, Carl?
Yeah.
And then Holy Family versus Lakeville North on Thursday. I bet I will probably be at this one. It's at Lakeville North. This is going to be a good game.
Yeah, I still think that Lakeville North is struggling a little bit, and they have a huge week. It's going to be a tough week for them.
And Holy Family is hot right now.
Yeah.
I think you don't get much hotter than what they're playing right
They're
now.
on fire.
Oh!
All right. I had to take that.
You just had to go with it. Friday, I will probably be at this one, Grand Rapids, Wayzata. Rapids comes down for a 2-game stretch. Rapids is probably going to win this game. Wayzata is not playing the way they can right now. And then Rapids plays White Bear on Saturday. And then Hermantown comes down to play Matamidi, which is a great Class A matchup.
Correct.
Matamidi has a tough week. We'll get into that shortly. And Holy Family plays Lakeville South as well on Saturday.
A lot of good games.
A lot of good
Holy
games.
Family's got.
That's a tough schedule for Holy Family this week, and Lakeville North's got a tough schedule as well. Those are good games, and they're not even our pick'ems.
Not
Tony.
even our pick'ems. Are we ready for pick'ems? Tuesday night. Yeah, thank you. Tuesday night, Matamidi travels to Breck. We put this as a pick'em because I know that Matamidi is going to win this game. If that's going to be the upset special. They beat St. Thomas Academy. They can beat Breck.
Okay.
There's my take on it. Last week, I'm checking my standings. I went 4-0. I went 3-1 the week before. Thank you to Edina, by the
Humble,
way.
aren't we?
I am very humble. I'm 7-1 the last 2 weeks. I'm taking a little bit of my Vegas money. I'm going to spend it on Matamidi this week. Come on, Matamidi, help me out here. Carl, you want to jump on my bandwagon and go Matamidi?
I do like Matamidi. I think they're a good team, and I'm going to pick them to win 4A, but no, I'm sticking with Breck. I think they're still, as we said earlier, they're the clear second best team in Class A right now.
All right, Danny, we know you're going to take Breck, so we'll just fly by that one. And
They're my top team in Class A, so I
Yes,
don't know
they
why.
are.
I'm going to stick by that until they lose to Hermantown.
All right, next game on Tuesday night. We have a twofer on Tuesday night. A lot of good games Tuesday night. Matamidi, Breck, Lakeville North, Stillwater,
And St. Thomas.
and St. Thomas Cretin. Who do you got in the Lakeville North Stillwater game?
Who do you want to go?
You, Danny. Sorry.
I'm going to actually pick Lakeville North in this one. I'm going to pick. I'm gonna go. Keaton Pearson stands up on this one, and I'm not confident enough in Stillwater right now to pick them. I think strength of schedule is going to not bode well in their favor, and this is the first game of a big week for Lakeville North, so I think they have their guns ready in the first game at least, and so I got to go Lakeville North in this one.
I am high on Stillwater. Stillwater is going to beat Lakeville North. Carl?
And I'm going to ride the ponies. I think you talk about the strength schedule, but North hasn't played a terribly good schedule recently either, and they also lost to Burnsville on Saturday, giving up 5 goals on 12 shots. That's a red flag.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I like Stillwater too. We're going back to the Lake Conference Thursday night. Eden Prairie and Tonka. I think this is a really mean thing to do for us three because we all agree Eden Prairie is going to win this game, but we're going to try to throw a Goocher down on the number 1 team in the state and see if they can get past our Goocher. Unless Carl, unless you think Tonka can win, what is your vote?
Yeah, no.
No. So we're going EP across the board. We're all going to get 1 right or 1 wrong to our totals.
Here's why this game matters for Tonka. They need to win this game. They just need to. For section seeding purposes, they need to win this game so they don't draw Holy Family again.
Yeah,
okay?
they're going to have to beat Eden Prairie twice in order to avoid Holy Family.
Yeah.
Bar none.
Yeah. And they beat Eden Prairie twice. They miss Holy Family, and they have confidence if they play Eden Prairie.
And they will play Eden Prairie again. So, these are really important games for them. And, you know, these young kids from Tonka have shown some major signs over the last few weeks.
They look good.
They gave Holy Family all they can handle, and Holy Family's number 3 in the state.
And they have a good goaltender. That Glockner kid's a very good goaltender.
Yeah, both goalies, Muller's played too, so I can't figure out who their starter is.
And they've got a good kid in the Bantams too right now.
Oh, John Howe is amazing.
And so they got a cash cow of goaltenders right now, right?
Yes, they do. That's why they won 2 Bantam State championships in a row. They had Glockner and Howe as their goaltenders the last 2 years, previous 2 years.
Yeah.
All right, final game. This is our proverbial game of the year this week. It's Elk River and Duluth East. Carl's going to be at the barn in Elk River. I know who you're going to pick because your rankings say Elk River is greater than East, and you've been slow playing this East team all year. So which one are you going to take, Elk River or East, Carl?
I'm actually going to take East. I think East is coming together pretty nicely right now. They're just looking balanced. They're not showing any obvious weakness. Look at Elk recently. They've been kind of struggling to score goals in the big games they've had. And I think East is going to come up hard up and take this one.
So the trap, the
cycle.
No, the Carl trapping us with his slow playing his team outside the top 10. It's officially over. So you're saying in your rankings, Elk River is in the top 10, but East is going to beat them in their home rink.
Yeah, the thing about East is if you look at their credentials today, they only really have one great win, which is over Rapids. That's why they're staying, sort of just outside the top 10. But if they get another one, you add in the win streak they have towards the end of the year, they'll make a jump.
Okay, so once they beat Elk River, will you put them into the top 10?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, dear God, thank you.
Remember that game when you were playing when you were a little kid? It's like 2 initials, and it's like that card game. It's one of them's like a B, and the other one is an S, right?
Oh yeah,
I don't remember.
I can't remember what it is. But there's a B and an S involved. But I can't remember what it is. Yes.
It's just
yes. I'm calling you on that B and then the S, but I'm not putting the B and the S together.
We
got in trouble with sandwiches last week, so we're not going to go there. Agreed, Danny. Agreed. I am going to go East as well. Are you going to throw the Goocher down or are you going to go Elks?
No, I am going to throw the Goocher down. I think East
Goocher is on the Hounds this week.
I think East is playing better hockey, too.
So do I.
I think they're going to score. And I think this game is going to come down to scoring. And I think that where that matters is East can score in those games right now. And they scored against Grand Rapids, and they're going to score against Elk River.
I couldn't agree with you more. We are way over our time limit. Mount Rushmore cost us a lot, but it was a fun discussion talking about all the great players in the past and influencers in the past. No time to go over Carl's rankings this week, but if you want to check out Carl's rankings, go on to the forum, High School Hockey Forum, and read them. They're good. He's still got Eden Prairie number 1, and he's still got East outside of the top 10. So
not a surprise.
Carl, thanks for joining us this week. Danny, appreciate you coming in the studio. For Carl and Danny, I'm Tony Scott. Thanks for tuning in, and thank you to our sponsor, Mayo Clinic Sports Medicine.
Last night my kid tore up his league. He had a hat trick right up his sleeve. Coach said he's never seen that. Gemini Athletics gonna have to stitch the C patch. I've got Ferraris, Maseratis, drive all over the place. I drink martinis, never seen these looks all over their face. My friends all